it, you like it, but I've heard a lot of negative things, especially on blade forums, about S30V, so I tend to avoid it. And CPM 154 is pretty much a classic, so I actually prefer it to S30V. Yeah, oh, some of the things I heard about S30V is that the quality of the blade depends highly on the heat treat that it gets. So if you get a bad heat treat, you can have a blade that easily chips or cracks. So, anyways, uses for this knife. Me personally, I'm not gonna use this knife because it's just too beautiful. It's a gorgeous knife. I mean, I would hate to maybe chip the blade or put a really deep scratch in the blade, or damage this polished handle. Now this handle is made out of polished micarta, by the way. It's a polished micarta, and if you look at it from the side, and again, I don't know if Bob Loveless did this or not, but the handle itself is not flat. It's wide right here, and it gets real narrow right here, and it widens out near the end. And the reason that Gilbert Norfleet, he calls this a Coke bottle grind, did this is that, you can see, you wrap your hand around this and it feels just great. I mean, it is great. You get a really good hold on this knife because of that handle shape, and it feels comfortable. You can skin a whole animal probably with this knife because it's just so comfortable and you won't hurt your hand. It's a great shape. No jimping right here, of course, but this is like a presentation knife more than a user, so that's okay. You can still put your thumb right here because there's a guard right here to prevent your hand from sliding forward when you do a stabbing attack, I guess. I'm never gonna fight with this knife, so I don't have to worry about it. But it's got that great Coke bottle grind. It really makes this knife look interesting, and the handle is it's a polished micarta. And if you can see here, it shows the grain of the micarta. It's very smooth. It's almost like bone or something. It's great. And because it's micarta, when my hands get wet, when my hands get a little slick or a little sweaty, it really gives this micarta a good. You can get a good grasp on it when your hands are wet. So if you're skinning or cutting an animal up or something, which is what hunters are supposed to, hunter type blades are supposed to be used for. If you get blood on the handle and stuff, you can still get a really good grip on it, also because of that handle shape. Let's talk about the sheath. And here's my major complaint, is the sheath. First of all, and Gilbert Norfleet, he hand makes these, and they're pretty well made. I mean, nothing like the knife, of course, but they're well made, very sturdy. It's held in with these pins right here, the belt loop, and this is a Loveless style sheath too. His original drop point hunter has something like this. And here's where my complaint starts. If you look inside of here, you'll see that the brass pin that holds the belt buckle on is showing on the inside here, and also the back side of here. You can't see it. Now, every time I put the knife in, you hear that scratch? If you're not careful, those pins will touch the blade. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's tiny scratches all along here from those pins. There and here, right here. And I just think that's just, see, you can see it right here like that, and right there. And I just think that's a tragedy because it's such a beautiful mirror polished blade. I don't know why the sheath should damage it every time you try to put it in there. You just have to be very careful, which basically means you can't take this out with you, because if you shove this thing into its sheath, the chances are you'll get a huge gouge on your blade. And I don't know what this material is. It looks like maybe it's brass, so maybe it shouldn't be scratching steel, but whatever the material is, it scratches this blade pretty hard. And it's okay, it's fine, because it doesn't show up that much unless in certain lights and certain angles. But it's just one of my complaints about That's one of my only complaints really about this knife, is the sheath. And also it smells like some kind of sweet beef jerky inside, kind of like a flavorful beef jerky, and it'll leave that flavor on the knife itself, which I also don't like. But until I find another way to you know another way to store this knife, I'm stuck with this. So anyways, okay, how I got this knife and why I got it. I got this knife because I love the Bob Loveless design. I first saw this knife being offered on blade forums under the custom makers section, and I immediately fell in love with it, with this green micarta handle. I mean, it was just beautiful. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it. Oh, my phone, hold on. Ah, sorry. The lady's calling. You know how that is. Anyways, but and I contacted Mr. Norfleet to buy one of his knives, and the knife that he originally offered me was the exact same design, except it had a white handle scale that almost looked like ivory. Actually, there was two options: either a paper or a cloth micarta for the handles, and it had red liners. You can't tell, but this knife, the Bob Loveless knife has red liners in it. This knife has black liners. A little bit of a different take on the design. So, and that knife, the other knife, the white one, had red liners and white handles, and everything else is the same. I liked how that knife looked, but I just like this olive green micarta better. It just seems like a woodsy knife, like something an elf might own or something. But the white put me off because it reminded me of maybe like a Saudi prince or something, like something a Saudi prince would own. But I actually still want that other knife, the white one too. And maybe when money isn't so tight or something, I'll get it. I'll contact Mr. Norfleet and go ahead and order one of those too. But that's why. And see, one of the problems with this knife with Mr. Norfleet is that not problems with him, but one of his problems is that he is not in great health. He, as far as I know, does not have the use of his legs, and that's why he makes the knives, to get away from, kind of to distract himself from the fact that he can't walk. And I think it's very sad, but he makes some beautiful knives. So all the more power to him. He's a great guy, very helpful through emails, and just very helpful in general about knife making information and stuff. And I really feel bad for him that he isn't able to walk, but he makes some great knives. And earlier he was having some medical problems after he posted these knives for sale, and so he wasn't able to deliver these knives for a couple of months. I actually ordered it at the end of this whole shenanigans. But some of the people that originally bought his knife had to wait 2-3 months. Now I don't mind waiting 2-3 months for this knife. This is a beautiful blade, but I would like to know that the wait's that long. I mean, if I was one of those people. But I ordered near the end, and a lot of people weren't getting their knives when they were promised, and I understand it's because of Mr. Norfleet's medical issues, and so it's fine. If I was having those kinds of problems, I probably wouldn't be thinking about making knives. But he went in the shop anyways and tried his best to put these out, and God bless him. I love the guy. And so I got a little freaked out because people weren't getting these knives and posting that they weren't getting their knives, and so I got a little scared. But eventually it came, and I don't really mind the wait. So okay, let's talk about the grind of this knife. This knife has a very deep hollow grind, and makes it really good for cutting. This blade came to me razor sharp. I might resharpen it, I may not. I may try to back that edge off and make it even sharper than it already is, but it came to me pretty sharp. So it has a deep hollow grind. Sorry, it's deep hollow ground, but it has a deep hollow grind. Okay, there you go. Which